So, for today's topic on healthy relationships, although we know that there are many different types of relationships out there, such as with our families, our children, our friendship, our work colleagues, and the likes. With the limited time that is available, I decided to focus in on the couple relationship. Hence, we're talking about our marriages. And this is because marriage is a very significant relationship in which we choose to spend the next 20, 30, 40, or maybe even 60 years of our lives together, God willing. And research done in this area tells us that our marital relationships, if it's good, it simply means that we have a strong launching pad to bounce off into every other positive areas of our life, such as our health. We are quicker to heal from illnesses. Our work and careers will benefit. And most importantly, our children too will do better in their lives and in their future relationships. So the take home message here is that a good relationship between mom and dad is the greatest gift for your children. We are role modeling to them, and they have front row seats to all our actions. A son will need his father's help to learn how to treat a woman in his future adult relationships, and a daughter will need her father's help to set the standards for her in what to expect from a man from her future relationship. And likewise, mom too has her role to play in the family life in modeling how she'd like to be treated, and for both mom and dad to make it a point to show appreciation for each other in front of the children. So, with that in mind, let's take a closer look at our marital relationships today and how to identify and how to achieve healthy relationships. So, what does this picture convey? Wow, we see a very loving and jovial couple. They are not very young, obviously, and probably they would have, journeyed through the many ups and downs of their married life together. But over here, they're still laughing and seem to be having a fun time together, enjoying each other's company. As the saying goes, a picture says 1,000 words. What do you think it takes to keep happiness in our marriages always? There is no one way of finding a happy and healthy relationship because relationship is a two-way street. Give and take is very necessary. But one word we cannot ignore is WORK, work. Marriage is a work in progress. Relationships are defined as a very vital and integral part of our lives, but it's not an easy ride. We are all social beings created for connection with others. And in this time of pandemic, this can't be further from the truth. The thing to remember is that every type of relationship requires nurturing and some level of attention. With marriage, we have to work hard to be each other's best friends and continual adjustment throughout the journey. Great qualities. We all want to and hope to achieve these great qualities in our marriages, such as longevity, lasting love, togetherness, happiness, and success. Relationship education is vital in providing you the skills and tools to achieve all of this and some more. However, there are no shortcuts, and the work is going to be intentional. Let's stop and take a look at what I mean here. We prepare for almost everything in our lives, such as our driving license, our exams, our careers, and even for running a marathon. But we don't prepare for marriage and beyond. The wedding is one day, but the marriage is a lifetime. And yet, no one teaches us how to be a good, a caring companion, to have empathy for our spouse, compromising skills, have good communication skills, how to handle our conflicts, and most importantly, to forgive and all the other little bits and bobs which are vital to the survival and success of our marriages. We probably learned whatever we know from our parents and them from their parents. However, nowadays, there are various new challenges that couples are faced with compared to the time of their parents. And we need to be better equipped to face these new challenges. For starters, we live in a digital, fast-paced world. In Australia, many of us are migrants faced with immense challenges compared to our lives back home in terms of lack of family support, job insecurity, and domestic help. However, every generation should aim to do better than the one before because our marriage is a legacy and a footprint that we are going to leave behind for generations to come. And we are also aware that our marriage plays a very big part in the childhood, the emotional development, and the resilience of our children. A happy marriage leads to a happy family and a thriving community. So, what is a healthy relationship? Having said that, there have been skills and tools that have been developed over 40 years by the relationship researchers and experts with time-tested and proven methods on thousands of couples from all walks of life. So lucky for us, we don't need to reinvent this wheel. It is right here in front of us. So you can see non-threatening behavior, respect, trust and support, fairness, shared responsibility, and all come into play. However, all of this will just remain words if we don't learn to put them into action. Relationship education with 3R will cover each one of them thoroughly, and the benefits last a lifetime. But again, the work is intentional. So who is relationship education for? The answer is for anyone and everyone at all stages of their married life. It can help make a good marriage great, enrich a strained and distressed marriage, help pre-marriage couples to start on the right track, and most importantly, you don't have to wait for your marriage to be in trouble before you seek help. The idea is that prevention and maintenance is key. So come in and do your relationship couple checkup. Healthy relationships are proven to be vital for our emotional and mental health. There is a direct correlation to our psychological state and also to our immune system. In marriage, we want to experience fulfillment, joy, security, and satisfaction. Otherwise, what's the point? No one wants to get married and suffer for the rest of their lives. Winning together versus winning against. Now, conflicts are inevitable in all relationships. We're all different with different opinions, values, worldviews, and personalities. So in our relationships, we cannot eradicate conflict, but we can learn the skills and tools to manage our conflicts. In fact, the experts reckon that some level of conflict is actually healthy in our relationship because it is a catalyst for closeness. Having said that, the real stuff is in learning to use the specific tools for structure in communication during our conflict, the rules of engagement to maintain love and respect and talk to each other in a dignified way. So it's almost like a choreographed dance that you see this couple doing. It takes two to tango, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, and away we go. It's all taught through relationship education in 3R counseling. So learning these skills can help us grow closer in our conflict instead of becoming divided. And this is a very invaluable skill that will pay dividends throughout your relationship. Or you see the other analogy here is the conflict in a boxing ring, where although there are rules, the partners are opponents seeking to bring each other down and knock them out to win. We seek a win-win in our marriage, not a win-lose. Nobody wants to live with a loser. And remember, we are on the same team, companions on this journey. Let's talk about compromise. People seem to think that they'll just get married and love will see them through the rest. Well, it certainly could to an extent, but not all the time, because life can throw unexpected curveballs at us. Reflecting on my own life, being an only child raised by a widowed mother, the first 3 years into our marriage, both of us a happy-go-lucky couple aged 29 years old and expecting our first child, we suddenly faced a big challenge when my mom suffered a massive stroke which left her paralyzed and unable to walk. We had to learn on the go to cope with this immense pressure and responsibility at a young age whilst coping with a newborn baby. Then 2 years later, when we were expecting our second child, my father-in-law's health took a turn for the worse, and we had to learn to cope with and manage his needs as well. So life happens, and it can happen when least expected. And the research shows us that many marriages can crumble because of this unexpected stress, exhaustion, and illness in the family, or people just thinking that they are incompatible. So there are issues around loss of job, death of a child, unable to conceive a child, all are big contributors to relationship breakups. 1 in 3 couples are divorced each year in Australia, with no exception to any particular race, color, or creed. And many more struggle in this journey and dissatisfaction over the gap in their differences or disagreements, which tend to compromise on their traits. And then people are feeling that they're living their lives not being true to themselves. Sometimes, sadly, one partner may have even checked out emotionally of the relationship and may only choose to live together for the sake of the children or the mortgage. But is this really the way to live? If you have ever felt that you had to compromise on your own personal traits, such as being considerate, being honest, being respectful, there is another way. Relationship education with 3R can help you because your marriage has a lot to offer if you're willing to invest a little bit of time and work with intention by using the tools from world-renowned relationship experts over years of study on thousands of couples around the world in various ages and stages of their married life. And both of you deserve this. What is the difference between a healthy and an unhealthy relationship? So looking at this slide, we can establish that love alone cannot sustain us, and we need more than that throughout the journey, and it's called intentional effort. Remember that the aim here is not to seek a perfect marriage, because only God is perfect. We are seeking a good enough marriage, and it still requires effort. And as the saying goes, marriage is a work in progress. Think of it as having a beautiful garden with colorful perfume flowers growing in it, but you will still need to, every now and again, pull out the weeds, water the plants daily, and fertilize when necessary. So in other words, always tending to your garden, and such is your marriage as well. Another important thing to remember is that while we are all human and we tend to get angry or disappointed, frustrated, or anxious with our spouses, the power is through relationship education in learning how to identify these triggers and then in knowing how to regulate your emotions during our conflict. And that can help us from preventing the pot boiling over. I strongly believe in my heart that this type of relationship education sessions can help prevent domestic violence, which is an endemic in this country. Relationship education with 3R will cover all of this in detail. Without reciprocation, there is no relationship. Reciprocation requires people to be invested in their relationship. It comes with the art and the skill of learning how to repair and rebuild our couple relationship after a conflict. And it is also a lifelong skill to have, very important for us to be able to maintain healthy relationships with each other. The experts refer to this as the masters versus the disasters of relationship. It's not like a master's in our education, but one that is more important and crucial to our couple life. The masters of relationship are the people who recognize areas of differences or disagreements in their relationship, and they're willing to find a new and creative way in fixing it, talking about it, and finding a resolution together. Wherein the disasters of relationships are those that avoid discussing it, they stay in denial, they downplay their challenges, ego is there, they carry on without repairing things, things stay unresolved between them, And then that slowly leads to the demise of the relationship. Relationship education with 3R will help you give the tools that are vital for relationship repair and reciprocation. Healthy relationship education sessions are not just plucked out of the air and put together by counselors or psychologists. There's been years and years of research carried out by experts in the industry. And here we see one of the many tools that are used in relationship education. This study itself took 40 years in the making and is known as the Sound Relationship House by the Gottman University of Washington. It is a strength and evidence-based tool and a model for healthy relationships, which is built from the bottom level, which is the foundational level, right up to the top, which we refer to as the roof. There are seven important levels in the middle, and it's supported by the walls of trust and commitment. So please do not feel overwhelmed by these levels. The motto here is to do small things often. And in actual fact, it is simple, but a conscious effort to prioritize your relationship and to learn to nurture it well. It's been a very powerful tool to help marriages at the brink of divorce and turn them around. So imagine what it can do for a pre-marriage couple or a couple seeking to improve certain parts of their relationship and are looking for ways to enrich their married lives and beyond. Relationship education sessions with 3R counseling will help you to find out about each of these levels and add the richness to your relationship, all the relationships around you. So it can be a mother-daughter, father-son, sisters, and especially your couple relationship, suitable for everyone in all stages of whatever marriage or relationship they are in. Okay. The next slide is about feeling without thinking or thinking without feeling. It doesn't work. So a new idea around this is, it's vital for us to know each other's scripts, our own insights and thinking and feeling of our loved ones. The heart and the mind has to come together in helping us have a better understanding around issues that may arise in our marriage. Time to ask ourselves, is there anything negative from our upbringing that is influencing our relationship with our spouses today? This is important because our family backgrounds have a big influence on our marriage. Even though we may be from the same race, from the same country of origin, there can be differences in a way which we have learned to view the world from our first environment, which is our unique families. For some people, the love and support they receive from their family is good and helpful in building a strong marriage. For others, it is a bit more complicated and can even be damaging. Families can endow us with emotional baggage. Therefore, the ideas taught in relationship education is around having a good understanding with regards to the patterns of thinking and feeling of each partner. This is vital information, really, because couples research shows that in times of stress, we have a tendency to revert back to what has been ingrained within us. And if we are aware of these differences beforehand, we have a better chance of understanding and empathizing with each other. This will be around issues around sex, faith, finance, and how we spend our money, or how open we are to talking about our emotions and our feelings. Praise, criticism, and all of this comes to play. Another challenge is that we now live in a very technological savvy world. Whilst we cannot deny that it is progress for the human race, unfortunately not for our personal relationships, which have been greatly impacted in us truly finding ways to interact or connect with each other without these distractions. Technoference is the new coined term for this. Another sad truth is what we call cyber affairs. Couple and family life can be greatly impacted if we don't set boundaries and limitations on this aspect to really connect with the people who mean a lot to us. And I've seen couples in my practice who are struggling with this. The stages of relationship development. So relationship education is catered to serve every unique stage of our ages and stages and growth of development of our life's journey. Marriage actually provides us with one of life's greatest opportunities and also one of its greatest challenges. So let's look at this slide in front of us. So we have the couple that is just starting out, lovey-dovey, hunky-dory, everything is going well at the romance stage. 2-3 years into the marriage is what researchers have looked at, and they call it the power struggle areas, where we might be challenged with raising our children, and we have different views and different opinions about doing things, and we're thinking to ourselves, oh, what did I get myself into? So that that a bit of a power struggle issue going on between us. Then we move on to the me and you section. So this I'd like to reflect back on my own life, and I look at it as a time when my children were in primary school, and all the involvement around them, working in this, just volunteering in the canteen and doing scripture classes and reading and preparing for school fates and everything. Was so involved with them, and we're running around doing everything. And I remember my husband would come back from work at about 6:37, and I'll tell him, the food is ready, can you just, watch out for the children, make sure they've done their homework and they've eaten. And, I'm heading out to the gym because that's the time I get some time to exercise after having run with them the whole day. And sooner or later, you find out you are like passing ships in the night. Okay, so we're not having that time to connect with each other. And it's so easy to lose each other in that journey. Because, life happens, and it's marriage is not just about putting food on the table, working, cooking, laundry, and running around after the children. It's a relationship that we have to actually nurture and look after each other in the journey. And then we arrive at the you and me, the co-creation stage that you see there. And that couple is probably empty nesters. So their adult children may have left home. And now if they did not look after themselves in all these other transitions, they would have lost each other when they arrived there. And that's why we're seeing more and more couples divorcing in their late 50s, and because they find they've got nothing in common anymore. So this is why we need to value our relationships. We need to have couple care, and we need to protect and look after each other throughout the journey, because at the end of the day, it's you and me. The rest, the children will leave the nest and they have their own lives ahead of them, right? So this is a very good slide to remember, and I also look at it from time to time to remind myself. The next slide is looking at tips for a healthy relationship. So always remembering that we are not seeking perfection, and that no relationship is perfect. Everyone is going to be tested in different ways, and we all have our own challenges and struggles. Letting go of our preconceived ideas and expectations about our partner and our relationship. We need to check in and talk to each other about this. Those date nights are important. Those long walks and those chats are important in our connection with each other. Making time generally, which is not going to come easy. We got to learn to carve it out. Not expecting happiness and romance all the time, and honoring our own unique journey and rising up to its challenges. Not comparing our relationships to others. This is where technology can come in and cause a boo-boo. So we talk about Facebook, and people always put their best photos. But 2 minutes before that, 2 minutes after that, we don't know what happened. So that's why we call it fake book. Although I'm a user of Facebook and I have relatives overseas, it's a wonderful tool. But in terms of marriage, it sometimes gets in the way because people are comparing to what their friends are doing and looking at themselves and saying, how come we are having this life? So remembering not to do that. Prioritizing the marriage above other relationships. This is a very important one. So when I got married 22 years ago, my mom advised me and said, so you're starting on this new journey. Before you leave your home, or you go out with the girls, or you got things to do, or go to work or whatever, make sure your husband you have cooked food for your husband. Now I say, my husband's actually a better cook than me. And, it's just the way we prioritize for each other. So if I was going on a long journey, he will make sure that, my tires are filled up with air. I've never done that in my entire marriage. And so, there's give and take. I do certain things for him. He's appreciative of it. And he does certain things for me. We have to show that we prioritize each other. Cultivating the we in a marriage, difficult for some people. From the me to the we is a transition into making decisions together. and leadership roles as well. So that's another area that some couples struggle with. And remembering to seek help early in the same way as we seek other professional services. Why? Because we send our car for service twice a year, we might visit a doctor once a year, we have all of these other things happening, but our own relationship, it's important for us to stop and take stock to see how we are traveling, and if we have anything that we like to discuss and we feel uncomfortable doing it in the presence of each other, or family members could be biased and take sides, come and see us, a counselor. There's no stigma attached to it. We're a neutral person. We help you process your stuff for you, and we are there to support. So that's the idea of seeking help early. And we look at this couple growing happy together in their later years. So how are we going to achieve this? Number one is to accept marriage as an opportunity to build one of the most intimate of relationships, and the benefits that will go way beyond ourselves, because it's about passing on the legacy to our future generations. We want to look back and feel proud of this relationship as one of our greatest achievements in our life. As with everything in life, there will be challenges, but let's change the view of our challenges and learn to look at it a little bit differently through the lens of relationship education, which is learning to accept the challenges as an ongoing process in learning about what it means to love and cherish another person, to look beyond our own needs, and then to go on finding about what is important to our spouse, and then make the necessary adjustments together, reflecting on our own behaviors. It all comes down to our commitment to loving one another, giving and serving of each other. And research tells us that loneliness in a marriage, or living in a high conflict marriage with little or no affection at all, is more toxic than divorce. The quality of our relationships keep us healthy. It preserves good mental health. It protects our brain, keeps our memories intact right through old age, and helps our immunity. So it's worth investing a little bit of time and effort in relationship education to equip you with the skills and the tools that you need for this cause of your life, right? So at 3R Counseling, which stands for Relationship Responsibility and the Reality of Marriage, I'm here for you, devoted to helping you to achieve all that marriage has to offer: love, life, marriage, parenting, and beyond, to help your relationships thrive. Would you like to be a master in your relationship? Come on in and get your toolkit from 3R Counseling. Thank you, and I look forward to helping you achieve the best from your relationship through my services in 3R Counseling.